Wednesday, October 14th, 2020, Future History Podcast. Take it away.
All right, we got stay in history. 1651, laws passed in Massachusetts forbidding the poor really the laws were passed to prevent excessive styles of dress for poor people. So it's 1651. In 1705, English Navy captures Barcelona, Spain. 1806, Napoleon Bonaparte crushes the Prussian army at Jena, Germany. 1884, a transparent paper strip for photographic film is patented by George Eastman, who is of the Eastman Kodak family. 1912, former President Teddy Roosevelt is shot and wounded in an assassination attempt in Milwaukee. He's actually saved by the stack of papers he had in his pocket. And even though he was wounded, he wanted to continue to finish his speech, which he did. 1947, Chuck Yeager breaks the sound barrier aboard the Bell X-1 rocket plane. 1964, Martin Luther King is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for advocating peaceful resistance. 1969, the British 50 cents coin enters the UK currency, and it's the first step in converting to a decimal system planned for 1971. This I actually watched. 2012, Felix Baumgartner breaks the world record for highest manned balloon flight, highest parachute jump, greatest free fall velocity parachuting from an altitude of 24 miles high, which is 126,720 feet. It was. Have you ever seen that by any chance?
Probably.
He was in
I watched that guy jump from the stratosphere.
Yeah, like he was in the edge of space, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
It's pretty cool stuff.
It's crazy. I mean, it's cool to look up and you're in the dark, like it's dark,
Right.
And then you look down and it's the lights. It's just insane. Today's birthday is William Penn, who is the Quaker leader and the founder of Pennsylvania, born in 1644. 1890, Dwight Eisenhower, the 34th president. His term was from 1953 to 1961. 1916, C. Everett Koop, who was the former Surgeon General. 1927, Roger Moore of James Bond films. 1939, Ralph Lauren. 1974, Natalie Mames from the Dixie Chicks, who now call themselves the Chicks, since Dixie has it brings up racial thoughts apparently. Fucking insane. 1978, Usher, the singer. And that is today's birthdays and today's day in history. And that is it.
That's that.
Felix Baumgartner was very interesting, though. That flight was... To just be up there and not have any fear of dropping down that far is like... I mean, to do that in general, you got to be pretty risky. But that was just...
Yeah, you're a heights guy, right? You're scared of heights?
Yeah. That's my big fear is heights. It always was. I just don't like them. But that was an incredible feat to watch him up that high, and then he kind of sat at the edge of the ship,
Yeah.
and then just like launched himself back. I mean,
It is
crazy. The calculations and everything also to figure where he's going to fall, and it was an incredible thing. I watched a great movie yesterday. I've seen it before, but it was about what would happen if a meteorite hit the Earth, and it's basically the aftermath of it. And the way they did this movie was just, they had a little, I don't like sometimes in those documentaries when they have like too much of the scientists talking and not enough of like what it looks like. This really, they would just have a little blurb from the scientist, and he's like, at this point, it's this is what would happen if it hit, and all of a sudden they go right back to the film. And they captured it so perfectly. And they were saying they dropped the meteor in the same spot that the one dropped in the Gulf of Mexico.
Sure.
What a crazy... Apparently it would go down about 6 miles. It would displace rock for about 6 miles deep. And it would form a pool of lava 100 miles. And
Unbelievable.
You'd have tidal waves. The entire Atlantic Ocean would be these insane tidal waves that we've never seen the likes of before. And, basically hundreds of miles inland, you'd have just washed out completely. And they said if it fell into the Gulf of Mexico in that area, Houston would be vaporized within 10 minutes, be completely flattened. Just not even like anything ever existed there.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, and they said
Big
that
problem.
you wouldn't see a sign of any type of like one brick atop another brick. As far as architecture goes, you wouldn't see that for thousands of miles. It's just it would be
crazy.
incredible. And
well, they say like it's instantaneous, and it's an instantaneous.
they said
end.
anybody within 1,000 miles that views that fireball becomes initially incinerated, because it's just the Earth's temperature actually goes up. It starts within a few hours. The big problem after the initial hit is everything that goes up comes down heated. So you just have fireballs launching all over the Earth. And
That's pretty crazy.
The surface temperature of the Earth goes up to hundreds of degrees. Like you're talking 500-600 degrees. And the only people...
It's like a bread oven.
Yeah, the only people that would survive are the people that are, were able to seek shelter underground far away. And those would be the only people that would survive it. You'd have winter for years because it would just, the dust and
It
everything.
would be a nuclear winter.
Crazy. And they said that it was equal to something like 100 megatons of TNT. The facts that they were rattling off were insane. But what was really scary was just, they said, we would face the dark ages again. We would be right back to ground zero.
Might be a good thing.
Yeah, well, the problem is, the difference is that it's one thing to reset technology and stuff, but to have to contend with the temperatures hundreds of degrees, and it's just you'd be facing a lot of weather issues. You'd be facing a lot of just anything that has any sort of electrical power would be vaporized around the Earth. Like you'd have the only type of cars that would run anymore are if there are any old cars around that have no type of electronics in it. You'd have to hotwire them, and you can get them to go.
I got rid of that Toyota way too soon.
Yeah.
Should have kept it.
Yeah, but anything that it would just literally systematically go around the Earth, and it would zap out anything that had any type of electrical currents.
It's not good.
Great movie, though.
What was it called?
It's something called If a Comet Struck the Earth. It just had a simple name like that.
Yeah.
But it was the best. Like, I've watched a lot of those types of movies. This was the best one that I've ever seen. And I watched it about 2 years ago, and I watched it again. And they just capture, they have about 6 different people around the Earth. They have one guy in Mexico. They have one couple in France with a child. They have they have a group of like indigenous people in Africa. And they just show what would happen to the different, the people in Africa sought shelter in a cave, and they eventually survived it. But when they emerge from the cage, then it's hundreds of degrees. So I mean, it's you're just facing all sorts of weather pattern issues, and
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but it was just when you think things are bad, and then you watch a movie like that, it's like wow, it just zaps you right back. Did you happen to listen to Trump on Savage Nation last night?
No, I watched his rally.
Okay.
And then I just went to bed.
It was he was talking about what he took to feel better with COVID and
His medicine.
Yeah, he said he loves.
I don't know, whatever the hell they gave me.
They
but I'm
gave
gonna
him
give it to you all.
Regeneron.
Yeah.
It's called Regeneron, and he goes, I don't know, I felt better in 2 days. He said I felt a little weak. And then within 2 days, I felt better. That Regeneron is really good. And then he said that.
He says he feels better than he felt 20 years ago.
Yeah, Savage asked him, "You still eating hot dogs? We had those hot dogs aboard Air Force One." He goes, "Oh yes, yes, oh yes, I love hot dogs." And he said, "I don't take." And Savage said,
Well, that's like real country club food.
Yeah, he said, "Do you
Believe it
take
or
any
not.
vitamins, Mr. President?" He said, "Nope, I don't like vitamins." Then
He's
Savage
old
was like,
school, man.
"Please, can I teach you? I'm a whatever he is,
botanist.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know." And so he goes, "All right, tell me what vitamins I should take." And he's like, "Vitamin D, President. You need vitamin D." I feel great.
It's like the massa.
He's like, "I feel great." And we're off to see some beautiful people at this rally. He goes, "What's going on with the Biden rallies? They have 3 people show up."
It's true.
And he
It's
said,
true,
well,
and not just that. At the Biden rallies, you had the MAGA people like down the street.
yeah.
Going 4 more years while Biden was trying to talk.
Oh.
It's pretty funny.
And he said that.
Then at the rally, you had people started going, CNN sucks. CNN sucks. I mean, his rallies are something different.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I've never seen that. Have you? Those people, like when you go to a Trump rally, man, that's like a real fearsome place. Like you don't want to screw around there. Get your ass kicked.
They're, railing against the mainstream, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he was saying, that they're watching very closely in as far as the election goes and the mail-in ballots. And he was saying also he denounced BLM and Antifa. He said,
Who did?
Trump.
Denounced?
Yeah, he's saying like he didn't, just putting them down. He wasn't sort of like Biden was trying to skirt the issue.
Well, it's an idea.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But Trump said they're very bad people.
Well, that's nothing new.
Yeah,
I've heard that from him.
And he was just interesting though. It was interesting to hear his take on COVID. You got to fight it. You just got to move on. And
tell that to someone with some serious health problems.
well, that's a different. They catch anything, then they're in trouble.
I
That's
think
the
it's
problem.
a silly argument.
What?
I think that people who need to be protected should be
Yeah.
protected.
Yep.
I just think that, but it's a little too. I don't know. I have no opinion on it at this
Yeah.
point because there's so much misinformation.
I mean,
There's
apparently.
some people who think it's nothing,
Yeah.
and it's you sound ignorant when you think that.
Yeah. I guess.
You do.
I don't know.
Not you. I'm saying
Yeah.
but
No,
there
I
are people
understand.
out there who think it's nothing, but there are a lot of people
Yeah.
who have gotten sick and lost loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
And
know.
it's like all fun and games if no one in your family's been affected.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that it's just there's no right or wrong answers to it.
I agree
know?
that you can't have the cure be worse than the cause or whatever.
Mhm.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
And they had
a
a
rough situation.
lot of leading scientists and doctors, and according to them, who really, those are the people who, when you think of who you would look to for answers, you're not looking to politicians for the answers.
No.
You're looking to the doctors, the scientists, and according to them, the best thing to do is go back to normal and
I
just
heard that.
protect
I
yourself.
heard that.
So
Yep. Well, because the depression rates are ridiculous.
But
I mean,
why
there's
would a
lot of-
politician fight that? You know what I mean? When you have doctors and,
Right.
and scientists and leading, not just some Joe Schmo at the corner clinic, but you're having leading doctors and scientists meeting, and that's what they come up with.
Well, Dr. Birx, I think, was one on like the forefront of saying that. Anthony Fauci is something else, man. He really is, because he really contradicts the president, and the president contradicts him, and it's not doing either one of them any favors.
No,
because I don't trust him, and I mean,
I don't think either of them, are the leading people that I would look to, but I just think that
Well, who's in charge?
I don't honestly. The problem is when it comes to things like science and medicine, there's always going to be two schools of thought, and you're always going to have people who think one way, just like on climate change, and just like on global warming. There's some people who agree on one side, some people who are experts in it and agree on the other, and it's like So I think the best thing to do is kind of somewhere in the middle. You just take precautions.
So when
And,
we were losing 1,000 people a day,
But-
remember that? In
Yes,
New York?
but that's not again.
Actually, we were losing like a lot more than 1,000.
But I again, for me, I would have to. It's like I don't know. I don't know if these numbers, how accurate. That's the problem. I don't think anybody definitively has accurate numbers.
Well, when the state puts out the information, that's the information you got.
Yeah.
So that's what you.
I
go.
also don't always trust the state.
I don't either.
That's the problem, especially a state run by Como.
I don't know. I have to disagree with you.
You can.
I don't.
You're entitled to
I
it,
don't
yeah.
trust the guy.
Yeah.
I don't like Cuomo.
Yeah.
But I tell you, when this stuff all first went down,
Yeah.
the facts were the facts. However, a lot of those numbers were nursing home people who he.
Well, I told you
Killed
when I
off.
saw Tommy DeVito from the Four Seasons, who is 92 years old, had literally a shopping list of health issues. And when they put in the paper in bold letters in the title, Tommy DeVito of the Four Seasons, dead of COVID.
Yeah.
To me, And that's like a newspaper that is one of the 3 in New York that are supposedly, credible papers.
Well, put it this way.
That's
You look
what-
at the MAGA rallies, right?
Right.
They're all wearing masks now. Mm-hmm. Why?
But that's my point. I think that you should take precaution. If you're going to be around a lot of people, then you wear a mask. But, in close proximity. But if
the
you're,
thing is like, if, and I'm sorry, but I have to, like, if you
Okay.
had it your way
right.
in the beginning, nobody would have done anything. And it would have been a hell of a
But
lot
that's
worse.
not true, though.
What would you have done?
I just said I would take. There's precautions you take. I think you can't swing all the way and shut down the world. I think that taking certain precautions would have been the right thing to do.
Granted,
Yeah.
like, it's true. Like we were saying with your friend Carl yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like, go to Walmart, there's no precautions.
That's my
There's
point.
nothing,
Right.
so it's a weird situation.
Right.
But what I will say is it was a real thing. It shut the whole world down.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
Absolutely.
probably a part of an agenda of some sort. I agree with that as well.
I think
But
that it's
you get the numbers you get,
Yeah.
and it's not you if you can't do the research to really figure out what's going on,
Right.
then all you can do is
But
take
I've
what
heard
the professionals
I've
say.
heard other numbers from professionals that were totally opposing what numbers one side puts out.
Can you
And
recite them, or do you know any of them?
They were saying that it was like a tenth of what they were putting out, a fraction of it. So I
the
think
the mailman over in your neck of the woods
Yeah.
over there,
Yes.
he lost 8 people in
I-
his
I
family
know.
due to COVID.
there was
So
look,
try have this
abs-
conversation with that guy.
I get it. There's a lot of people, and conversely, I talked to a few people who actually had it, and they're like, "Yeah, I felt like shit for 2 days, and I felt great after."
But that's a part of it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I think
different
it's
for all.
Exactly. So I think though that you can't, a middle of the road. I think you take precaution. If you're somebody who is, where the problem lies though, is that you could take precaution, but if you have somebody, let's say you live with a 95-year-old grandparent,
Right.
and then you're out at school,
Or working, whatever, to survive.
then you got to come home to them. So it's not something that I think is really doable.
I really think the media kind of tarnished what Trump did.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a good job, and a lot of people disagree.
Yeah.
But he shut down the places that needed to be shut down right away, and of course they came out and called him xenophobic.
Yeah.
So
I know.
it's kind of crazy.
You can't win. And if there was a Democrat in charge, then the Republicans would have criticized.
Correct.
I mean, that's the problem, is that it's really, any issue like that will always become politicized because that's what they do. And it's,
It's funny though how Nancy. I don't know if you saw the video I sent it to you.
you
on
mentioned to
Instagram.
me about her melting
I
down.
don't know if you check on.
No, I didn't see it, that one.
But it's interesting to see Wolf Blitzer, who's a liberal scum,
Yeah.
get into an argument with Nancy
With a liberal-
Pelosi.
Well, can you explain it to me a little bit? I'm curious. I'll check it out myself
it's-
later, but I wanted to.
It was just like a quick excerpt from yesterday, I think. But she said, Trump put out a tweet saying, stimulus, go big or go home.
Right.
Trump wants to give everyone some cash. People need it. And Nancy Pelosi has shot it down. And she's really having trouble hiding behind the fact that it's actually her. It's not the Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans are the ones coming up with these ideas to get us money. I don't
Yeah.
know about you, but I could use it. I need it right about now.
Yeah.
And Pelosi shoots it down. And Pelosi says to Wolf Blitzer, "Well, you're an apologist for the opposition party." And he was not too happy with that, and he kind of fired back at her. And then she said, "Thank you for being so sympathetic to our constituency." And he's like, "I am sympathetic. I see them begging for food in the streets
Yeah.
every day when I'm
Wow.
walking into work."
Wow.
And she goes, "Well, do you feed them?" We feed them. It was pretty good. I
Yeah.
gotta say.
It's nice to see
It's
that.
nice to see Wolf Blitzer have
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
without him complimenting the Trump administration, he kind of did.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I will watch
Check
that.
it out.
But I think
Pelosi's a piece of garbage. She really is.
I don't know how this woman is.
We'd
just-
have you know what it is? She doesn't want that check to go out with Trump's name on it.
No, I know.
That's all she comes
I
back
know.
to.
I know.
It pisses me off. I mean, where I was working is still shut down. Check this out. Just yesterday.
That I find insane. But that goes back to what I said, where the pendulum swings too far one way, and to me, it's absolutely ludicrous that they don't have weddings at this point in a catering hall. It's like it's bizarre.
Listen to this.
Absolutely bizarre to me.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Suffolk officials, Miller Place Inn, fined 12 grand. 37 connected to super spreader event test positive. Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone on Tuesday said the Miller Place Inn was hit with a $12,000 fine after 37 people connected to a Sweet 16 party at the venue last month tested positive for COVID-19. So, the party, which took place on September 25th, had 81 guests, exceeding the state maximum of 50, officials said, noting not all attendees were wearing masks. We have not seen an event like this before at any time throughout this pandemic, Suffolk County Executive Steve Ballone said. He's another clown, by the way.
I agree.
During a video, he's a pandering scum.
Yeah.
I used to, when I was a waiter, he used to do events at this place that I worked at in West Hampton. You want to talk about a chump? When you see him in person.
I have.
Now, I saw him on public access once when they were tearing down not Parsnips. Remember that place on Lake Ronkonkoma that was shut down forever?
I
can't
do.
think of the name.
I can't either, but I do remember. Yes, that restaurant.
Yes. And it was like
it's an old mafia place too.
Yep. So I remember seeing him like he wanted to be the first one to hit the thing with the sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Seeing him try to pick up the sledgehammer, like he should have never even tried.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
I saw him at your grandfather had a gig in Babylon, and he at some type of carnival or something, and he was a young politician at the time. This was about 25 years ago, and he was there trying to doing what shaking hands with everybody and trying to get his votes and stuff. I mean, that's what they do, but...
So it says here, so far 28 young people, including students from several high schools, and 9 adults have tested positive for COVID. Officials started contact tracing after the Suffolk County DOH received several positive COVID-19 cases throughout the Sachem School District.
Oh, boy.
The first positive case reported on September 30th was connected to the Sweet 16 party, which had 49 students and 32 adults in attendance.
Oh, boy.
The entire guest list was quarantined, Ballone said.
God.
Investigators traced 334 contacts, of which 183 were affiliated with schools and 151 were not affiliated with schools. As a result of this one event, 270 people were placed under quarantine. 8 schools had positive cases, and 35 schools had individuals placed under quarantine, the clown Steve Ballone said. He said, quick action to identify COVID-19 cases and quarantine contacts prevented any further spread of the virus. There is no community spread at this time. So, the popular venue known for hosting weddings and other elaborate... Now, I take this serious because this is what I do.
Sure. Well, of course.
You can't have more than 50 people.
I know. I don't get it at this point.
7-8 months after.
So what's your take on it, though? You were very... Before, you were very kind of, into it being a very serious issue. So what would you do?
I'm talking about it being a serious issue when it happened. There was a lot of people when it happened who didn't believe it.
But I'm saying it's still now where people are gathering and then everybody
Well, here's my issue, is that everything else is open.
Right. Yep.
You can go to the bar on Main Street, get trashed.
Yep.
Social distancing is off at that point. You can go to Walmart.
Why is it that they're keeping catering halls closed?
Because it's...
Movie theaters too, correct?
Yeah. Hollywood's having a tough time right now, which is weird.
I could imagine.
The New York Philharmonic has canceled its whatever it does for the first time in 178 years. I was just reading. Broadway's staying closed down till June. Hollywood doesn't know what to do. Nobody's making movies right now.
Right. I could imagine. I mean,
which is dark. That's weird.
Well, I guess they'll just make for TV movies. That's all they can do right now.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Movie theater and
the thing is, the studios have all these crazy restrictions.
Yeah, I know.
You know how many people you need on a set?
Oh my goodness, you're right. And also, like movie theaters in general, how are they? I mean, I passed that one on, that layback one where you can lay back in the seats, and it's just empty. Yeah, it's just empty. It's incredible.
It's scary. So, what I would say is, I guess the reason that I'm angry is
Other places are open.
Other places are open. The trains are full. Walmart, you can, fondle a shopping cart and nobody says a damn word. Target's open. The dollar store is open. The corner store is open. Everything is open.
Yeah, I don't get it.
And you go into 7-Eleven and the dredges of society walk in with no mask on. Nobody says anything. But then if I walk in and I forgot my mask, I got a SWAT team on me. So that's what pisses me off. I don't like the double standards and stuff. Catering halls, for the most part, are orderly.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why the state is looking at it as if it's this, like... I mean, clearly you see what happens, though. I mean, they exceeded the amount of people.
Well, that's the problem, is, like, it seems like once they have these things, chunks of people then test positive. But at this time of year...
And it closes schools. That's
at this time of year, I just wonder, truthfully, and I'm just asking this. I'm not saying... If you went into, let's say they had one of these Sweet 16s and they had 80-something people. Let's say they had a way to test for the common cold or like something.
Well, that's what they do when you go to work. They put the little laser at your head. So it's like, I don't understand.
But I'm saying if they test for the common cold, how many people out of those 80 would test positive for something like that? And you seeing the president
kills people.
President is over, according to them, he's almost obese. He's in his mid-70s, and he was better in 2 days. So it's like...
But he gets...
I know, he gets this Regeneron. I understand, but then make that available to everybody. I'm just saying, it's what... I don't get it. I don't get this thing where... I don't know. I don't know.
You know what? It's easy to get sucked into the argument on both sides.
I know.
Like I did earlier. I was getting pissed off because I know people who have suffered because of it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm suffering because my place of business, literally the place, I won't name its name because I don't want to exploit them like that, but they're on their last legs.
I can imagine. People
are refinancing their house.
Yeah.
To put the money in to keep the place afloat.
You're talking, this is a place that's been in business for probably close to 50 years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, even in its earlier incarnation.
Well, when COVID first hit, like around March 15th or 16th, it was like our last days all together there.
Yeah.
It was really grim.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yep.
And we were sitting in the lobby, all the managers, that's all that was there, sitting there. And they says, this is the first time in 24 years this place's doors are going to be closed.
Yeah.
7 days a week, there's someone there to book your event,
Wonder why they closed 24 years ago, because it's been open longer than that.
No, well, the current ownership.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that is those guys are very, they're a successful enterprise. I wonder financially how they're doing.
They're doing okay because they have a bunch of a la carte restaurants that are there.
That's what's,
But
you don't like to lose money, so
catering is big money, though.
Yeah, I mean that's a hit. That is a hit. What they're taking
supports
everything.
Their other stuff.
Yeah.
Not just that, but the owner's got a lot of family. He likes to.
Do they have any predictions when?
No.
They don't. See, that's the problem too. Is that there's just there's no answers.
And it's funny because as things are continuing on, people like me are forgotten. Yeah. Nobody cares about my career.
No, that's.
And it's it's pretty crazy to me. Like I never.
Yeah.
A year ago,
my business shut down. I mean, it was open for almost 20 years. Almost 2 decades, and shut down. Just couldn't keep it afloat. It was too much as far as trying to balance people wanting product, and then when you turn to the supplier and then they're not producing product because they can't have a warehouse full of people.
Right.
You can't get the goods to people. So then they want their money back, and it's like
It was really almost a sticky situation the first couple months with supply and demand issues.
Yeah, sure was. I saw it firsthand.
You have giant food purveyor companies who are now open to the public.
Yeah.
Which is bizarre.
Yeah.
like
a Restaurant Depot.
A Restaurant Depot serving the public. I mean, it's just unheard of. So, I don't know. But things are going on as normal, and people are working. People have their... But there's no jobs for me.
Yeah. It's like
There's no jobs for the chef I was working for who's been in the business 30 plus years.
Yeah, because restaurants, I'm sure everybody who is out of work will run to those.
First of all,
jobs.
the restaurants' capacities are restricted.
Down.
They have 2 people in the kitchen who, more often than not, are underpaid and
Yeah.
from another country,
Sure.
let's just say.
Sure.
They're not letting them go,
No.
you know? So
And that's a trade that's always been a very strong, like, if
It's
you
been
can
a
do,
pillar
yeah,
of
yeah,
society.
yeah. So now that it's like, I just,
and then you look at New York City. Now, this is
Bizarre.
something I always come back to.
Yeah.
You have the best restaurants on the globe
yeah, yep,
in New York City. It's hard to imagine, but it's true. You have people who leave Paris and Lyon and Tuscany and
Yeah.
Milan and you name
sure,
it,
and they come here.
and they come to New York City to
Yeah.
open a restaurant, and they stay in New York City.
That's why getting
What
a
the
job,
hell do they do?
Get a job for the government, take civil service, because they're it's like they're exempt from losing work. You know.
Well, except for the police department.
Yeah,
You know,
well.
nowadays. But
I haven't heard too many getting laid off yet, so we'll see.
no, I know.
But it's just that's like,
But I know what you mean.
yeah, it's like they're exempt from, they pass the policies and they shut people down, but their paychecks are never affected. In
Nope.
fact, they'll get raises during these times.
And it's tough because when you work in a business like I work, and the owners kind of look at you, and and like
Yeah.
The Godfather when he has to get rid
Yeah.
of him, and
Sure.
he's like, "Sorry,
hands
Vito,
are
like
tied."
I got to get rid of you. Like,
Yeah. Their hands
here's
are
a
tied.
loaf of bread." That's what
It's-
happened to me.
That's their hands, the money's not, there's nothing coming in.
It's funny though. It's really funny. I'm watching everything kind of just carry on,
Yeah.
and my industry in catering is just
It's just
very sick.
It's odd to me though that all these other things are going on, but then it's never good when you hear something in the news like, oh, all these people tested positive for COVID. It's like, but if you went into a school at this time of year
Sure.
and you tested kids for things, do you know how many fucking germs?
Right.
That's my point with all
Yeah,
this.
yeah, you're right.
It's like they're
You're
pinning
right.
this thing where, to me, I don't know.
But what about the bar on Main?
I know.
I gotta say, like, it's
Yeah.
mind blowing.
No, I know that's.
I haven't
what
gone
I'm
out
saying.
in like
Yeah.
a month to the main street because
Yeah.
it got weird.
Sure.
But
Yeah, certain
when I was
things
going
are
out,
open.
there was hundreds of people
Right.
in this bar
Right.
with no mask on, sitting down at their tables. What difference does it make?
I don't
Like,
see why they can't open the catering halls, but just have it reduced capacity like they do in restaurants.
It's not worth opening your doors at reduced
That's
capacity.
but restaurants are doing it, and I thought there was more profit in catering, so why wouldn't it be?
Because catering is being watched more closely than a la carte restaurants. That's why. In my opinion.
Yeah, I know, but I just still like.
They say that it's hard to control catering.
Okay.
They say that it's hard, you see, so let's look at when you
Yeah.
have a wedding, what do people do?
Right.
They sit at a table
They drink.
in a room,
Yeah.
they drink the whole time,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yes.
They dance,
Yep.
they stand at the bar,
Mm.
that people kiss and hug
Yeah.
and touch. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a real, like,
I just don't see the difference between that
me
and the
neither.
bar.
It's the same shit.
People dance in bars, they drink, they get sloppy, they like,
And there's
I
no
don't see the-
representative for me.
Right.
There's no union.
No,
There's
no, I know.
nothing.
I just don't get
I didn't
why.
anticipate it.
Yeah, I don't get it. And even movie theaters, I don't see why they don't have reduced capacity, at least something, just to jumpstart that.
And our governors and congressmen and, they're untouchable.
Yes.
It's not like I could write a heartfelt letter to Cuomo and plead with him to, like, hear me out.
He was the problem I have with him is he had no, like, he was so almost vicious the way he was, like, tough. It's either death or this. Like,
Right.
it was just no empathy at all. I can't stand that guy, man. I cannot stand him. And I can't, de Blasio I won't even discuss
No.
because he's not even worth
My
the
point
breath.
earlier was that when COVID first broke, I understand
Uh-huh.
why we shut down. I understand why we did what we did.
Yep.
My problem now is that there's no plan, as we just covered,
Yeah, for reopening.
for reopening things. You
Certain
got stimulus
industries,
being held up,
Yeah.
so financial relief for people like me is unheard of.
Yeah. I don't know. Everything, like I said, it's once the politicians get their hands on it, the issue is now it's not even a scientific issue, it's a political issue. And it becomes what side is going to get their thing passed. And you're right. Pelosi would rather see the Dems name on that check than
Correct.
That's
all she comes back to.
Yeah.
That's all I hear is that she doesn't want that check with Trump's name on it
Yeah.
to reach your mailbox.
Well,
And for that, she should be put in prison.
the only thing that the only thing that people can do is vote them out of office. That's it. That's the
Yeah.
only recourse they have. And unfortunately, this woman's been there forever.
California loves her.
So somebody likes them. I don't get it. I don't get how a guy like de Blasio wins a landslide. I don't get it.
Because you have a bunch of morons in
Yeah.
a concentrated area.
Which is why they communicate to those people.
Right.
And instead of shutting those people down, they go and they shut the Hasidic Jews down.
Right.
That's, to me, that's another blatant why I think this whole thing isn't as serious as far as the illness is. If you're looking at pure stats, what place are you going to shut? The one that has worse or better? Well, I would shut the one that has worse stats because they're much sicker. But yet he goes and he shuts the Hasidic Jews down. So what's the real deal with this thing? And that's my whole point. But I can't stand seeing people driving in their cars with their windows shut with masks or running down the street with masks. Like,
Yeah, you're insane.
yeah, like it's almost like it's not to watch that day in and day out. It's not good for your mental state, to see these.
Well, that's
people.
what I meant when I said it got weird on Main Street.
Yeah.
Is that one week I went there and outside was like fair game. Everyone could.
Everybody had their masks off.
Right. It was real fun.
Yeah.
The next time I went there was these ordinances posted in the street saying you must wear a mask
Yeah.
by order of
Oh
New
yeah.
York State.
Well, somebody saw
and the
that.
minute you
yeah.
put the mask on, you're on high alert. It does something to your psyche.
Yeah.
So you're walking down the sidewalk,
Yeah.
no mask on, you just walk by someone. When your mask is on, you're like, oh shit. And
Yeah.
you cross the street because you feel constricted. You feel afraid from the mask.
Yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not. I mean, they say that it's for mental wellness. It's not a healthy thing. It's
very obvious too, because when I went there that one week and then I
Yeah.
went there the next week, it was a totally
Sure.
It was creepy.
Yeah. It's very odd, and it makes people standoffish from, because even like when
That's what I'm saying.
I'm at 7-Eleven and I'm ordering something with the the guy can't hear me, and it's like and the frustrations get high. It's like, man, these things are,
But it's not the 7-Eleven guy's fault,
no, of course not.
you know.
He's only, he's not, and even at the bank, it's like,
We're going to be dealing with this shit
Yes.
for like 5-10 years.
Not
I
only
think.
is it the mask, but then you got the plexiglass, and it's like just this separation of human
I go to the
beings.
wine store to get my wine, and the guy's got the plexiglass.
Yeah, yeah.
But then there's this little like
To slip
slide,
things through.
and I'm like, how the fuck
Yeah,
am I supposed
yeah,
to
yeah.
grab it? Like,
yeah, they do that. Yep.
it's crazy.
And I have a hat on. Sometimes I go into 7-Eleven, like a baseball hat, and it like the front of the
Like the
bill
brim
hits the
hits
thing,
the
and it goes
Yeah.
up. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
but it is something that when's the end of this in sight? And they don't have a definitive.
Well, Trump, if you listen to what Don Trump says, he says that it's going to be very soon, momentarily. Which I don't like, because it's not true either. Like, no one's telling the truth here.
I don't know.
He's telling you what he wants,
Yeah.
but he's not telling you the facts.
He also is a 70-something-year-old man who is obese, technically.
He looks good to me.
I agree. But according to those charts,
Funny,
they
though,
have,
how the tolerant left
calls him
obese.
I know.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate them.
But,
I really do.
But my point was, that's a guy who's in a high-risk category for several, especially he also has a high-stress job. Like, he's in several other illness areas
Right.
there. And he got it, took whatever medication they gave him, and 2 days later, he feels great.
I know,
so-
but you're talking about his health care is...
I know that, but what I'm saying is, if he's able to take, what's the difference? I mean, what can they really do for a human being?
I think the FDA and all that, I think they're the ones to blame. They're the ones
But
holding
that's what I'm
this
saying.
stuff
Like,
up.
people say, oh, it's healthcare. So, but if it's your time, what are they really doing for him besides maybe giving him medication? But then if there is medication available that's top notch,
Yeah.
why is it not widely available?
I guess because of liability, insurance, there's got to be something.
I am just saying, but my point is, though, there's a guy that is in, who, if you looked at him just on paper, not knowing who he was,
Yeah.
and you see 70, how old is he, 72, 73?
74.
Okay. His mid-70s, admitted to a hospital, borderline obese, so they
Sure.
say. High-stress job. Like I said, mid-70s, contracted COVID. You're thinking, oh, okay, what this guy might be, this is a high-risk situation. And then you see the guy 2 days later, and he's feeling great. So it's like, what is this thing that we're dealing with? Is this something that, with the right medication that is out there, is this beatable like that? Or, is it like a little flu, or is this something that is just, that's the point. I don't know what this thing really is, and I don't think
it's kind of strange too how we have this state by state patchwork where
Right.
you have Florida where Rick DeSantis one day wakes up and he goes, fuck it,
Yeah.
I'm opening everything.
I know,
And
I
then
know.
you know what I mean?
I know.
And then you have state like Pennsylvania or New York or Jersey or Connecticut.
It's very haphazard.
It's
That's the problem.
disgusting.
That's
and then
the
you
problem.
have states who resent each other
I know.
because we throw you on our quarantine list.
Yep.
They throw us on their quarantine.
right.
It's bad for
It's-
business.
It's just so haphazardly done, and even like you said, like the industries, some are closed, some are open. What is it that we're really dealing with? And to me, seeing that guy where everybody, the left was licking their chops, hoping this guy is going to be in the hospital a long time, and
Who,
this is-
Trump?
yeah,
Yeah, they
like
hoped he died.
oh, they were, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's back in
And
2
he took
days.
his mask
Yeah,
off the
yeah,
second he
yeah,
walks
yeah,
out.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
he wasn't playing. That
Right.
was all. That was great.
so.
No, I agree. I agree.
That gives me hope,
agree.
though, with this illness, seeing that.
It doesn't give me much hope
Yeah, I mean, for me, as
because
far
now
as
I'm almost 30 years old.
Yeah.
And I got to say to myself,
Yeah.
might have to, do something different. That I was totally fine.
yeah, well, I'm going to be
You
50.
too, but
yeah.
I mean, like,
yeah, same boat.
it's like
I know.
Jesus Christ.
I know. A lot of people are contending with that, and unfortunately, like I said, the guys that my friend works for the town of Smithtown. He's got
But
a
if
good
the
gig.
government is going to shut my business down,
right?
I want money from them.
Yeah. Yep.
I want what I was earning
Yeah.
when COVID broke.
Yeah. Well, that is they will never. Unemployment never matches what you're making. That's
It was
for sure.
at first.
Because of you had the two things together.
Right.
But,
And I would get that if
Yeah.
Pelosi would get out of the damn way.
Yeah.
I would have had it months ago.
Yep. Like
It
I
would have
said.
been $200 less, but I would have
Yeah.
been fine.
Yeah,
with
you
that.
could have been doing. I know. As
They're
I
the
said,
ones holding me up.
As I said, once it's politicized, that was my problem with the COVID from the beginning. Is that it's not all the answers, all the restrictions, everything else. It's not. They're not looking at just cold hard facts. They're trying to tailor the facts to match their agenda politically,
Right.
and that's my problem with
Yeah.
it.
No, I agree with you.
That's all it is. It's got nothing to do with it. I'm very sympathetic to people that get it. It's horrible. But I just felt from the beginning that they weren't taking truth. They were just operating on how can we manipulate this to to affect the
ultimately-
people
right.
and make them do what we want, and just like they always do. So, and that's my problem with it. And that's why I will never vote Democrat. And that's it. So that's the COVID thing in a nutshell. But anyway, really quick, this lady seems like she's pretty bulletproof running for the Supreme Court because they're trying to.
She's like awesome.
Yeah. And they had a professor who taught her at college, and he has taught some of the best and brightest judges in the country. And he has said, the number one student that I have ever had is her.
Amy Coney
Yeah.
Barrett.
And everybody that's ever worked. Now, you know.
I didn't realize
Yes.
that she's sitting there for 11, 12 hours.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy.
3 days straight. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting blasted by
Now-
the scum of the earth.
It's
Crazy.
Then they call her racist because of adopting kids from Haiti, saying that it's
Well,
like,
that guy from Louisiana.
not just that guy,
No,
but
I
this,
like
yeah,
him, though. He
Yeah.
didn't want to ask that question.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he referred to that idiot
Yeah.
as like a bonehead or
Yeah.
something. I was watching it. I like that guy. I can't think of what his name is, But do you
Yeah.
remember the old Cajun guy who had the cooking show?
Yeah,
Who-
Justin something, the cooking Cajun.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yep.
reminds me of that
Yeah,
guy a
yeah.
little bit.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah, that guy was funny. I remember him.
the racism is disgusting.
Yeah.
from
But it's
this.
funny that this is a woman. Think how hard that is. Every job you've ever had, there's always somebody that wants to come out of the woodworks for whatever reason. You could have rubbed them wrong one day. And especially someone like her who is...
That Klobuchar is a dope.
I know. And she's able...
She's a
People
dog.
they rave about her. I mean, that, to me... when somebody runs for an office like that, there is always somebody coming out against
The other
them.
bozo from Hawaii.
Yeah.
She's another idiot.
Yeah, they're out there. So that's, to sit there and take shot after shot after shot. Trump said
she hasn't written one note.
Nah. Trump
Okay.
said she was extremely highly recommended to him, and I mean he made a good choice. She
Yeah.
has
She
she has
knows what to
7
do.
children. It's like
And
incredible.
some of them are special needs.
incredible,
So the next time,
incredible woman.
right?
But they'll still find a reason. She's not good enough.
They hate her skin color is what it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's not a
She's got,
not a
blue
black
eyes.
or Spanish woman.
Yep.
She's
It's funny how Asians are always left out of the minority picture.
of course.
Because they're
Because
for the
they're
most part,
successful.
right.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like you got to be a dipshit or a failure in
And
life.
it's racist to the black and Hispanics to assume
I know.
that,
Of course.
like, oh God, I hate them.
Yep.
I really hate them.
Yep. If you're a failure, then you're okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It is like a
Yeah.
circus.
Insane.
But I've learned a lot about the Supreme Court as
Watching
a
this.
result of watching
Sure.
this, and it's really cool
Yes.
how they don't screw around.
No.
They take cases, they hear the cases,
Yes.
they don't form opinions with bullshit.
No.
Like, it's real research, and that's why they only see 80 cases a year.
Constitution, is it constitutional? Is it not constitutional?
That's
I mean,
that's the question.
what forms the laws of the land.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thank God for the Supreme Court.
the Supreme Court. I mean,
They're the ones who control the ebb and flow
yeah.
of change.
Yeah, that's what it is. They dictate what happens in this.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
That actually is what gives me a little bit of faith in our system,
Yes.
is that there is that separation,
Mhm.
because that legislative branch is a pack of scum.
Oh, that's where everything gets bogged down.
That's the shit.
Yes. Yes.
Your president, he can only do
Yeah, exactly.
so much,
Exactly.
But then the Supreme Court's our hero.
Yeah. Yep.
They really are the ones that are for the people.
A lot of people have been saying you want to see somebody who would be a good future president. This woman.
Yeah. But that'll never
I
happen
know.
now because she's on the court.
You know.
I don't know if a justice can leave the Supreme
You
Court
can.
to run
Sure.
for president.
Yep. You either leave retirement or death, but you can.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, she'd make a great president.
Yep.
When I watched Kamala Harris interview her yesterday, I
Yes.
wanted to vomit.
Oh,
I
can't stand her.
stomach her.
me neither.
It's not her skin color.
No, I don't
it's
care
nothing,
less.
It's nothing like that.
No.
It's
It's
like,
her insides.
It's the way she.
I don't care about
it's
her
her
head.
heart. It's
Yeah.
her black. It's her
Yeah.
disgusting, evil
Yeah.
heart. And
She
she
right
really,
through her.
Oh God, she's a dog.
Yep.
And you know what's funny? Law enforcement.
Mhm.
She's a law enforcement agent, and when she talks to you,
Mhm.
she talks down
Yep.
to you.
Yep. Exactly.
I
She's
hate
awful.
to say it. Like
Awful.
I support the police, but look, you know the type of person she is.
It's obvious. You look
And-
where you could listen to her talk, but they, again, like I said, there is nothing that you or I can do that somebody who, same people, we watch the same debate.
Right. They'll see totally different.
See it totally
facts.
opposite.
Right.
So I could sit here and rant and rave all I want, and it's like,
What I don't get is how a liberal could watch Amy Coney Barrett and hate her.
and they do.
It's crazy to
And
me.
they do.
She is so. She doesn't speculate on anything.
You talk
She doesn't
about an
answer
intelligent woman. I mean, I'm not saying that Kamala's not intelligent,
I'm sure she is.
but really,
She's an egomaniac.
yes, there's a difference between these two women,
Yeah.
and you could see it right.
Just
Well,
listening to them.
Yeah, yeah. Kamala loves that camera and the attention, and they call me Mamala. You know, it's like
Yeah,
oh,
go
she's
I honestly,
nauseating.
I get
She's
really
nauseating.
upset with her.
She's nauseating.
Joe
The-
Biden. I mean, you gotta watch
Joe.
Trump's.
Joe,
Yeah.
Joe, and Joe. Joe. What do you call it, Joe?
Trump's like Biden's shot.
Yeah, you know, he's.
I don't know if you saw him yesterday. He's shot.
Yeah, he goes. The guy can't. He doesn't even. He was just going off on Savage. He was. Just, he was hilarious.
Yeah, it's.
Michael, you and I, we had the hot dog aboard Air Force One.
Yep, that was the famous hot dog summit.
Yeah, and he's, we're going to Pennsylvania. There's a lot of beautiful people there. He's so funny. But
he's like, Pennsylvania's been losing for a long time.
Yeah. Oh, he was saying about New York and it's
the great
terrible.
Italians.
Yeah.
I love the Italians.
Yeah, their economy's terrible right now. But
it's true.
So, a lot of my friends that were there are leaving in droves.
See, that worries me.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that a little bit more and more every day.
That's what's happening.
So what's going to happen is people like you and I
bear the burden.
They're leaving, us type of people. In a year, 2 years, 3 years, all that's going to be left here is communist scum.
It's not just us type of people. People that are leaving are the people who are very wealthy,
right?
Who take up a brunt of the taxes.
But also just middle of the ground people like you and me, they're leaving.
Yeah. Well, that's why
California as well. So you're taking that middle ground population.
Well, that's why you're going to see these people in office forever.
Huh? It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Sure is.
Because you're going to throw off the balance so bad in that state that it's going to actually kill itself.
New York of the past is done. It's no longer, it's lost its luster. It really has. It's not. It used to be something to live in New York, and it's just, now it's like,
I really get the heebie-jeebies about New York City.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't like it.
It's different. I used to love when I was a kid and we used to take a field trip to the city.
Yeah, it was nice.
You never knew what you were going to see. You never knew, you go into the nooks and crannies. I used to go with my friend, too, when I was 18. We used to go and we'd hit all the record stores in the village and stuff. And
I got this tattoo in New York City, actually.
You never knew what...
It's a fun... Have you ever gotten a tattoo in the city?
No.
It's actually pretty fun. It's because... I think I got in St. Mark's, and there's like a whole a street that's just all tattoo parlors.
Oh wow,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then there's like the punk rock shops and things like
cool.
that. And this is probably like 5 years ago. It's amazing how things just change overnight.
Well, they've really changed. Like I said, since the and what was crazy too was like when you had a guy like David Dinkins in office, who was a black Democrat. City was a shithole. Then you get a guy like Rudy Giuliani in office,
and he turned it into.
And it's like overnight, And it just showed me that was when I really started to see the difference between, liberal policies and strong policies. And I said, "Wow."
I'm really getting tired of these liberals thinking that because this Amy Coney Barrett's going to get the justice seat, that all of a sudden every law is going to be overturned. It doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It's crazy how many rights they think
ask
they're
them
lose.
what has Trump really done wrong? They won't be able to name a policy that he did. It's just he's a racist.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like they say, orange man bad.
Yeah.
That's what they revert back to.
Like I was thinking about that when I was watching it, listening to him talk, and I'm like, wow, when you really think about it, when you do ask liberals, what is it about Trump? They just don't like him.
Right.
It's like they don't have specific policies. Half of them don't know anything. So
he brought back troops from the Middle East.
Right. Yep.
He united Israel and the UAE.
Yes.
He's done. He's had big summits with Kim Jong-un.
Big time peacemaker.
Liberals don't want peace.
No. Nope.
It's such bullshit to think that they're peaceful. So anywh, let's leave it there. Yes. I'm done. I'm pissed.
It's a mental disorder. Liberalism.
Yeah, it is a mental disorder. Shouts out Michael Savage.
Who was driven off the radio.
Well,
they are. That's why they it's politically motivated. They got him off, and but he'll be doing podcasts. Thank God.
Which is better. He'll reach more people.
He said he's going to really go off. So that's
you can say what you want.
Yeah. Yep.
For now.
Yep. For now is right. He said the same thing.
Anyways, all right, everybody. Have a good Wednesday. It's Hump Day.
Nice weather today.
Yeah, it is nice weather.
So,
talk to you guys tomorrow.
Take care.